All right. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us for round 2 of the Sports Car Series brought to you by Track Limits Racing. We are in Road Atlanta. My name is Whelpcakes, and in the booth with me, as always, is Mr. Finicini. Finn, how are you doing this weekend?
Oh, I'm doing pretty well. How are you doing?
Doing pretty well, man. Road Atlanta, it's a track that I love dearly. It is my white whale of iRacing, and we're going to have some multi-class racing here tonight at
I
Road
don't
Atlanta,
mean
and I'm really
can
looking forward to it.
I am as well. Can I sidebar you immediately by asking what you mean by what do you mean by your white whale? As
Uh,
someone who's never understood it.
oh, Moby Dick. I'm Captain Ahab,
Okay.
and
Uh-huh.
and Road Atlanta is my Leviathan. It's the whale I can't catch.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm following now.
yeah.
All right. In a very similar vein, I would say this is always one of my favorite tracks that I have never done well on. So I think I'm right there with you with having this be a white whale of a track. But one of my favorites for tin top machinery across all types, GT3s, GT4s, GTEs, even it is such a good flow for these kind of cars and LMP3s as well. Um, all of them are fantastic, so it'd be very cool to see. I think we're wrapping up the tail end of our drivers briefing here for all the drivers on track before we get into qualifying for probably GT4 is my guess.
Yeah, I believe GT4s go first. Quick sound check from the audience. If somebody could just give us a thumbs up indicator, let us know that sound levels sound good between me and Finn. We'll get to hear the cars here in a moment on track once they get through that driver's briefing. Um, Qualifying around here, Finn. We got open qualifying between at least it's split qualifying between classes, but open qualifying for everyone out there. There's no isolated instance that you're qualifying against, and it's just kind of like a hot lap.
Yeah.
Qualifying around here with this grid size, traffic I think is going to be a concern. What do you think about when you think about a circuit like Road Atlanta and qualifying?
When I think about qualifying, it's always where can I find a good minute and a half to 2 minutes of open space where I'm not going to be either run into from behind. And I say this loosely, not like I'm going to get impacted, but more faster class is going to try to pass me and ruin my line to make theirs.
Mm.
Or vice versa, if I'm in that class, that faster class where I'm at, or I'm just faster than the cars in front of me, where do I have that 2 minutes of that window to really set up a good line to go over the start finish line, go around the lovely sweeping turn one into this really technical first sector, and just keep the line clean in bounds and not don't get it loose, especially with these GT4 machinery that don't have a whole ton of downforce.
Mm.
The mechanical grip is so necessary, and you get it out of line too much one way or the other, and it will really bite you. Even those really rock solid Porsche Caymans that are out there will also will even do that. So I think it's just really finding good space around you to put together a lap, and then uh, putting your foot to the floor where you need to, and really hitting your apexes and stringing together that time. And then I think it'll be what a lot of them are looking for. But I think, like you said, swing it back, bring it back around. Traffic will be a huge piece of qualifying for these guys.
Indeed, I think traffic is probably going to be the part. It's going to be the piece of the puzzle that I think is going to be the toughest piece to solve for. But
Mhm.
we've also seen some really talented drivers at Oschersleben, and they
Absolutely.
manage the traffic quite well with a very stacked grid there. So who knows? Maybe we've just got right people, right place, right time. For me, I'm really looking forward to seeing these LMP3s try to handle Road Atlanta. I think Sector 1 in particular, the bumps, especially going up into Turn 3, I'm kind of
Mhm.
curious to see how they handle it. These things are real sensitive to bumps, especially with their downforce. I'm
Mhm.
kind of wondering how many of them are going to turn into a skateboard on the exit of Turn 3. The other thing I'm kind of looking for is how do cars handle turn five? Turn five historically is a corner that I've seen many deaths.
Mhm.
So I think, especially when you start to get when the traffic between these two classes mixed together during the first heat race, I think it's really going to show us kind of what we're up against in terms of people being able to manage this traffic.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the heat feature format that we've introduced with the season opener over that Osher Slaben really, I think is going to give us a good expectation. What we see in the heat will likely, that history repeats itself. We'll see that what we see in the heat will likely come back into the feature in some form or another, whether it be incidents or who has pace early versus who has pace later. All that will, I think, be a good indicator from the heat race as we go into the feature race. But I also agree with you there. The LMP3s, it'll be really interesting to see how they navigate that first sector, whereas that gets all those bumps. Turn 5 in particular, if you're not careful, that inside curbing could catch those LMP3s out, and then they're sliding across the track into that gravel trap and beyond if they're not careful.
Indeed. So it looks like we might be starting to see our GT4s heading out on track. So let's go ahead and get switched over to our race data here with qualifying underway, and we do have some folks out on track already. I do believe our first car out on track might be Mr. Sam Chapman, but the auto camera is gonna follow along as people are putting in that outlap with this open qualifying format. Let's pull up the track map so you guys can kind of get a taste of what traffic looks like around here at Road Atlanta. Hopefully audio for the game is coming through and it doesn't cause you guys to lose our voice in the noise, because the machinery is wonderful to listen to, but if anything sounds kind of off, just let us know in chat. As you can see, GT4 is already kind of like jockeying around trying to get their outlap underway. Yeah, Mr. Sam Chapman jumped out pretty quick right as soon as the they were released for qualifying. He's already going into the final chicane. Not sure why his livery's showing up. I did load trading paints a little bit late.
I think that is his livery. That is the livery I'm seeing on my end as well as the one you've got.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's black and white with the
interesting
signage on the sun.
Yeah, sun visor. So
one of those 3 words.
Yeah, no, it's cool. It's cool. We're going into that turn 3 we were talking about before. You see how the Cayman here is pretty curb compliant, and he's dropping down into these fast S's. This is one of the parts of the track where I feel like LMP3s are going to get very awkward to the GT3s, or GT4s. And then here we go into turn 5. That's what I was talking about. You want to use that exit curving as much as you can, but it is also very dangerous. So high risk, high reward. Into turn 6. Probably down in 3rd gear as it gets set up for turn 7, and then we're going to head down the back straightaway towards, I believe it is 10A and 10B, because it's an American circuit. We've got to do it. We've got to do things different.
We don't have this turn. We have subsection.
Yep.
10A and 10B.
Yep.
So really just small adjustments to the long straight.
Yeah. So going into the chicane. So turn 10, as we're effectively going to refer to it tonight, gets a lot of curbing on corner entry, corner exit, goes out wide, hitting turn 11, this downhill sweeping right-hander, and Mr. Chapman's going to put us on the board. But man, he's gone purple every sector, but Ethan Hamlet has matched him pound for pound.
Interesting to see. I think Ethan will probably jump ahead of him. Badness also beats him out by 3/10 of a second, and Ethan Hamlet almost a full second faster than Sam Chapman. But it goes back to that space I was talking about. Because of the space Ethan put in the outlap between everybody, he was able to make all that time up into his actual qualifying.
Right now we're on board with Wookie OH on Twitch TV. You can go check him out. It's Mr. Logan Branson. He's a good dude. He's probably got a good stream pulled up right now if you want to get that driver's perspective. Still looking at these qualifying times. Tanner Shifter setting some personal bests. And we're going to look. Actually, let me pull up those times. And let's see what what that best time so far shows up as for these guys. Bruno Clemente in GT4 AM currently setting the top time sheet with a 27.069. Do we think anybody can take it to Kyle Potter this week? Actually, you know what? I don't see Kyle in this lobby.
Yeah, I don't see him in this lobby.
So, with Kyle Potter out, some of the GT4 AM guys are going to have to make hay while the sun shines, because at Oschersleben, Kyle Potter was slamming. So Jaden says, weird background static. Can you be more specific? Is the game staticky? Are the voices staticky?
Is it just me, or is it just one of us?
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, let me check the levels on the game just to make sure. Because that's the other thing too. Yeah, hopefully it's not too bad.
Yeah. I'm looking at these times. It's interesting to see the top few tighten up a little bit, but there are still 0.3 between Badness and Hamlet over here in GT4 Pro. In GT4 AM, Bruno Clemente also 0.3 to the good of Anthony Newman. Crackles at times. You also. Hell yeah.
Okay, well then I think I can handle that. What we might do at the end of qualifying, I'll jump in the iRacing options and see if I need to turn the master volume down a little bit. I can always adjust the levels on the mixing board, and we can try and see if we can do some stuff. Bruno to Pro question mark. Gian Cardoso in chat already calling him out. 26.4 is pretty good, but 26.4 would only get him as far as P7 in Pro, but we've also got some big classes, so Uthman Badmus comes across the line. I don't think he's got a shot at taking the fight to Ethan. Let's take a look at some
I don't think that was a better time. His second lap was where he set the 125.6. That has netted him the second place that he currently holds. Third lap was slower. So
Gotcha. So Eduardo Zamora, purple in sector 1, but losing some time. Let's go take a peek. Tommy Cogan's out on track. What's he got? In the Aston Martin, Tommy Cogan had kind of a race to forget at Oschersleben. Just couldn't avoid the drama.
Yeah, and I also felt like he spent a lot of time hanging around cars that weren't in class. So he was racing people for overall that he didn't need to be racing over in GT4 AM category, and couldn't get around them to go race people in GT4 Pro.
Indeed. Jared Jones, another person who had a race to forget in Oschersleben, I think. Currently sitting, though, 9th in GT4 Pro. So kind of still locked in combat with Anthony Newman. So that's good to see. Okay, so 5-minute warm-up after the sprint, 3-minute grid timer after, and then full formation laps too. So that's going to give us some time to talk about these cars as they're going around track, and I think that's going to be pretty good. Ethan Hamlet, man, that 25.534, that is a big gap.
Yeah.
Let's go take a look. Who else do we got in here? Henry Garcia was quick at Oshers, but right now, I think he's sitting 12th. Yeah, he's got some work to do if he wants to pull himself out of the cellar.
Yeah. Definitely some work there. I think it'll be interesting to see how much he's able to climb up the pro ranking over the course of this race. He showed good pace at Oschersleben, had a couple incidents, and I think ended up having him fall down the order further than where he probably would have finished if he had not gotten wrapped up in those.
Indeed. I think Oschersleben, like, everybody was kind of getting used to one another. This is a first time event for everyone. But with that, I think it'll work out. I think everybody's going to figure it out, and we'll be good to go. I am seeing a number of the GT4s pulling into their box. Christopher Blue's currently sitting 11th, had some personal best times, and looks like he's gonna stay in 11th.
I think that is the case. I think we watched him pop in, pop out, and just pop back in just for the end of qualifying. seeing here, and he seems to be at least putting together maybe one last attempt at a quicker lap.
Yeah, he does have a little bit of time left because I believe they have another 1.5 minutes before we get qualifying over for the GT4 category before the LMP3s take the track.
I am nodding my head as I'm looking through the time, see who hasn't posted a time out of the GT4 category. Only person that we have, I think, is just Chris Blue that we're watching right now, and Matt Pyle.
Yeah, Matt Pyle not being in the times right now. That's going to be a tough recovery. But at the same time, too, I feel like with the format, especially when we get into the feature portion of round 2, I think that's going to give people an opportunity to be able to, make some gains, because that safety car getting popped will definitely have a factor.
Definitely think it'll give a lot of our cars that have a rough heat to get back into it for the future. I think it's one of the things I'm really excited about this new format is that
I forgot we don't do safety cars and features anymore.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah.
But that said, because of the fuel and the stops that are going to be required, there is still an opportunity for people to do a massive undercut, especially with those quick repairs, and get back into it. So if they don't have to tow, that's going to be a big thing. Can't tow.
Yep.
So.
Nope. But I still also agree with you. Even with a safety car, it does bring cars that have gotten into those incidents that have damage trying to get back and losing a lot of time there, a way back into it. If they have a rough heat, they're not completely out of it for the evening. They have that neutralization with the feature.
We're gonna do a couple things real quick while these LMP3s are taking that out lap. I'm gonna cut the audio for the game down by like 20 dB, and then I'm gonna go into OBS, see if we can make it look a little bit better. In fact, I'm also going to make Mr. Jaden's part sing by getting those cameras loaded. And yeah, hopefully we'll be underway in just a minute. Okay, so it's not Pisecki, it's Pisetsky. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. So with that, so the audio levels for the game are going to be a little bit lower. We're still waiting for LMP3s to come across the line and start flyers. So let me see if I can bring the game audio up a little bit for you guys. And just tell me in chat if it sounds good, bad, or otherwise. One more time. I mean, it looks okay. If it sounds okay, just give me a thumbs up. In the meantime, back to qualifying, and we are on board right now with 777. I believe that is that Alex Valesco? Alex was a participant in Oschersleben, and from the looks of the data, I believe came away with 32 points from the feature race, which was a good result. Sprint race did not manage to get any of the bonus points from the heat, but the feature race 32-point total puts him 7th in the overall in LMP3. I think that's a strong result for Alex. He's going to try and see if he can get a good quali in the books and then kind of see where we go from there.
Certainly. I think it'll be interesting to see. I think we also have the individual tied for 7th with Gabe Chapman also for the same.
Yep.
If I looked at my time and sheet correctly, I did. So it'll be interesting to see where they both end up at the end of the night and see what games they're able to make as they get themselves into another round of the championship for the championship points for this season.
Road Atlanta, as you guys can see from the looks of the track map, there is some traffic in the LMP3s right now, but there is a lot of space. The 729 managed to sneak out and get into some space. That's Gabe Chavez, who we were referring to earlier. Also the 937. Who is running that one? Mark Coyne, the hardest working man in sim racing, is back with us in LMP3s this season. So Mark Coyne's going to be on track. We're going to see him turn some laps. So Alex Monroe right now, 16.0. I mean, look at the spread right now. In between the top 6, top 7. No, top 6. Like that is a pretty tight spread.
It is 2 tenths separating, a little less than 2 tenths separating first to sixth. Is definitely going to be for a competitive opening, competitive first, I think, entire heat race and a good way into our feature race, depending on how, as long as everybody's clean and stick together.
Yep.
Barely hear you co-commentating. Apparently, I'm too low.
You're too low. All right. Well, we gotta crank your levels up.
Let me crank on my end first before you start cranking on your end.
Yep. Okay. So
let me just hit the buttons. There we go.
While we're doing that, Scott Fleming came across the line. Fleming currently sitting 5th overall. Fleming had a really good first round. Did manage to pull enough points to put himself in 3rd in the overall LMP3. That's 33 points from the feature race, but he also scored 10 points in the heat. So the heat format providing the bonus points really showing some increased value. So yeah, I think it's going to be really important to try and capitalize if you get a good quality result. Try and score as many points as you can in the heat race.
Speaking of Pisetsky, if I'm saying it correct, came across the line 115.65. Set our new fastest lap in LMP3.
Yeah, with Pisetsky going to the top, that is going to give Andrew Monroe a run for his money, but also Peter Hutchings getting some. Excuse me. That would be still Nick Alvarado. Let me go fix that name right now, because I still don't understand why every time he loads in, it changes to that. So let's go to first name overrides. Give me a minute. So we got Nick. That is going to be Alvarado.
Those two, Alvarado and Pisetsky, have both been duking it out for fastest lap. Both going tenths faster than they had previously. So we set a 115.23 for Pisetsky and a 115.4 for Nick Alvarado.
Yeah, so if I misspelled your name, Nick, it's your fault. Join the lobby with the correct one next time. With Nick going 2nd fastest, Gian Cardoso, look at Gian. Top 5 in pro, running a 15.767 right now. That is our LMP3 with that. That's a good time for him. That's a really good time for Gian right now. He's strong.
So Gian's been showing some really good pace the past, both towards the end of last season as well as throughout most of this season. Jaden Ledbetter, I don't think, has posted a very good time.
Yeah, Jaden already setting up the excuses. I see. Typical racing driver. Gabe Chavez, 729, currently with a 15.971. We're starting to see the time start to kind of like condense a little bit, but I'm still looking at that spread up at the top, and I'm seeing what? I mean, we've got, 5 tenths between top 4 right now? That's pretty good.
5 tenths between top 4, still a little under a second between P1 and P9, P10 almost. So still a very, very competitive field for all this.
Yeah. So it looks like everybody's in the pits. That might be the end of qualifying, unless other people are going to come out. But let's take a look at the current state of affairs. You jump to the top of the LMP3 standings so we can take a peek. Pisetsky with that 15.227 to put it on pole, with Nick Alvarado not that far off. That would be 1.7 tenths between Nick and Pisetsky. Ethan Hamlet, top of the timesheets. Are you shocked? I'm not. Bruno Clement coming in top of the timesheets for GT4 AM. I think we've got some I think we got some interesting folks up at the top of GT4 AM going to try and make hay while the sun shines with Kyle Potter not being with us this week.
Absolutely. I think it'll be interesting to see how the top of the field looks like with Kyle Potter not being here tonight, and if it still is as breakaway for Bruno Clemente as it was for Kyle Potter last week, or if Hendricks and Zamora will be able to take the fight to him and make it a little bit harder for him to get to keep that P1 in GT4 AM.
Indeed. So we're going to take a peek real quick at the grid getting started for this race, for the heat race. Let me switch over to... Okay, so Pisetsky, let's go to TV1. We've got the grid pulled up. We'll follow this along as they're doing the outlap. We've got on the front row, Bartosz Pisetsky on the 343 alongside Nick Alvarado. Scott Fleming lines up alongside Gian Cardoso, who finds his way in P4 in LMP3, so a good result for Gian. Andrew Monroe alongside Gabe Chavez for the third row of the grid. Let's take a couple steps downward now. And it looks like we've got Michael Lively, who made bank in LMP3 in round one at Oschersleben. He's lining up alongside Mark Coyne. And Ryan Buchanan alongside Alex Velasco, who's going to try and move up the order. Alex was strong at Oschersleben, but I think there's still more potential there. So I'm looking for more from Alex this week. And Jaden Ledbetter doesn't manage to set a suitable time for his pace, and he's got a heck of a recovery to go figure out. I'm seeing Peter Hutch in... Is he not showing correctly? No. I see him now. Hang on a sec. All right. So we're going to take another couple steps down and take a look. So Aaron Romero, Peter Hutch lined up alongside one another. That looks like that's ahead of GT4 Pro, but I don't think that's GT4 Pro. So I'm not sure if the grid is doing something funky or not. But we've got Delvin Hunter alongside Ryan Vogel. Dylan Hendricks lines up alongside William Lewis, taking some more steps down real quick. And Brandon Potts alongside Sam Racicott, I'm guessing. Oh, there we go. Ethan Hamlin. P1 in GT4 Pro alongside Uthman Badmus. Taking a couple more steps down. And Sam Chapman, who had a huge points haul out of round one. He's going to line up alongside Tommy Kogan. Tanner Schiffner alongside Colin Johnson with Bruno Clemente in GT4 AM, lined up alongside Jared Jones this week. Jared Jones had a really good result in qualifying. He's going to look for a strong result here at Road Atlanta. Edward Zamora alongside Anthony Newman, who had a really good qualifying, posting up in 10th alongside Eduardo. Sean Sullivan alongside Austin Green, who is strong at Oschersleben, looking for more from Austin. John Newman and Logan Branson line up alongside one another, and we're going to take another couple more steps down to Henry Garcia, who does not have a qualifying result that I think he's going to be proud of here at Road Atlanta. He's lined up alongside Christopher Blue, Mr. Consistency, by the way. So look for Christopher to try and make some moves if he can avoid some of the chaos on lap one. Kerry Nolan Jr. alongside Dave Schneider, and Matt Pyle brings up the rear in GT4. He's got a big recovery to make.
That he certainly does. Both him and I think Jaden Ledbetter both are people that are not where they would be had they qualified properly. So it'll be interesting to see where they end up at the end of the feature, or end of the heat, really, and the end of the feature as well. As where they are in the heat is where they start in the feature, if I'm remembering that correctly. Or do we do...
I believe so. I believe you're right on that.
So we should have the start of GT LP3.
Yeah, they're coming down the sweeping hill right now. Pace car's in. And away we go. Down the start finish straight away on the approach to that fast sweeper you were talking about before, Finn. Turn one, do we have any kind of chaos with somebody trying to go up the inside?
I think they've all kept it pretty clean from the looks of it. They're all just filing in single file behind Pisetsky to really find their groove.
Ethan Hamlet gets a heck of a jump at the start, and Uthman Badmus already lined up inside. He's going to have to challenge Sam Chapman. Does look like we might have some contact in the LMP3 field. I'm seeing Michael Lively drop down the order, among others. GT4 is moving double file. Man, doing the Noah's Ark thing through turns 1, 2, and 3. That's brave.
I think Michael's trying to avoid hitting the car in front of him, Andrew Monroe, and he got the car loose and made contact with the wall. Takes out another car with him.
Oh, no.
Jaden Ledbetter.
Oh, Jaden Ledbetter jumps to the pits, and the weekend goes from bad to worse.
And Alex Blasco self-spins behind the two of them. To make it 3.
All right, we're following along with Dylan Hendricks, who's in this massive train of GT4 cars. Look at this grid, dude. This is
oh my
ridiculous.
gosh, it's so good.
There's just so many cars here.
Yeah.
Going into turn 10, and they are out here racing for something. And Dylan Hendricks is trying to, looks like he's trying to maybe pull away from Jared Jones a little bit. Or no, that's Sean Sullivan. That's Sean Sullivan he's trying to pull away from.
Yes.
Let's go, let's actually switch over to Mr. Sullivan. Hop on board, take a look at this in action. From the roll bar here, actually the Porsche has kind of a bad viewport. Let's go to the nose cam as they go through turn 3 right now.
I believe that's the McLaren. They still have not the best.
Yeah, not the best.
Viewports from their roll bars. The nose is always a great place to watch as we're trailing in with Sean Sullivan. This whole train of cars coming up through turn 5, which is where all of that incident we saw early on with the LMP3s was handled.
This looks amazing so far. I'm so stoked about this, man.
I am as well. I thought I heard a little bit of radio chatter from Logan Branson early on. So we can find out what happened there on the GT4 AM category.
Ooh, is that the race leader into the wall?
That is.
Bartosz Pisecki, turn 5, claims its first soul.
Actually, it's like its third soul.
Yeah, probably.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it has claimed another soul, certainly.
Yeah. So trying to get back on the track after the spin, he makes it stick. Does he have damage? It looks like the front end might be a little squirrely, but he's back on track and moving. And with that, Nick Alvarado in the 420 takes the lead of this race going into turn 10 right now. And that is not what Pisecki was wanting for the heat race. But again, we got the feature coming up. There's still lots of points in round 2 available. We definitely had some folks, especially last week, really make out well after a subpar heat race and then going into the feature.
Absolutely. I'd say Alex Velasco is one of those people that did really well in the feature after a rough heat race. So I'm guessing we'll probably see something similar from him again. Probably with a handful of individuals that are all trying to make recovery runs at this point from their incidents.
I'm looking at this battle right now between Sam Chapman and Tommy Kogan. Tommy Kogan has shown up from Oschersleben, and he is ready to race here at Road Atlanta. He is trying to chase down Sam Chapman, who, to be honest, I think between him and Kyle Potter, both of them caught the field a little bit by storm in GT4, the relative categories. So Tommy Kogan, track limits racing, sports car series veteran, going to try and see if he can make up for some lost ground in Oschersleben, and he's doing real well right now. I mean, 4th place in GT4 Pros, nothing to shake a stick at.
Nope, I think he just made it out really well. I think he's had this good rhythm here at Road Atlanta. I think it'll probably net him a pretty solid P4, maybe P3 if Sam Chapman doesn't find more pace. I think Sam is capable of it. It's whether or not he can actually execute it that I think we'll see that difference there between the two of them. And then I would love to see Uthman Badmus make it back up to Ethan Hamlin, who is once again walking away from the rest of the field very slowly.
I mean, walking away, yeah, he's walking away. It is slow though. It is slow.
Yeah.
We're talking a tenth and a half, somewhere in there. So Uthman keeping Ethan in touch. Now the question then becomes: is Ethan holding pace in hand? Is it about managing tires? Because again, with the heat race being the thing, I think tires aren't necessarily the issue. You probably want to drive them like you stole it. But when we get to that feature race, though, then I think tire life is going to be a bigger deal.
Yes, absolutely for the GT4s when tires take as long as they do to put on. Definitely something we're going to probably want to manage better in the feature race. Not a big deal here, like you said. Both fuel and tires. This is more about trying to find as much pace as you can, set yourself up for the feature race, and getting yourself a good position there, so that way you can continue to increase your placement in the order.
So we just joined in for the chaos as it is starting to unfold with LMP3s catching GT4s in the S's.
And this is where you said it was going to be super awkward for them, and I couldn't agree more watching a couple of you guys having to choke up to not hit GT4s.
And that's race leader Nick Alvarado trying to run away from Aaron Romero in the 111, and the GT4 traffic has pulled him back into Aaron's clutches. And Scott Fleming, he's looming in the background. He's not gone.
Not even. He is, I think, waiting for traffic. I think traffic has gone in the favor of Aaron most of the three of them. I think it's going to continue probably to go that way. He is careful with how he makes these moves, because definitely getting a little close to the GT4s.
Let's jump back. Let's take a look. We got Eduardo Zamora right now. He's trying to run away from Dylan Hendricks in the number 10 Porsche. Dylan Hendricks, newcomer here to the Track Limits Sports Car Series. Already taking the fight to some of the veterans out here on track. They're dealing with the LMP3 traffic as they go into turn 1, turn 2, turn 3. And Eduardo Zamora right now currently holding really small margins on Dylan Hendricks.
Absolutely. I think Sean Sullivan was part of that pack too, and I think he got a spin on.
And Dylan Hendricks gets nailed on the exit of turn 5. I am not sure what happened there, but hopefully that is not race over. So everything I said about how everything kind of felt good at Oschersleben from like a clean on-track perspective, we can just forget I said that.
Well, it seems like we did the commentator's curse. I think it struck the field as a whole. Watching this back, Dylan gets a lovely little shunt from Mark Coyne, and Mark Coyne, who checks up to avoid doing more damage to the poor Dylan, who had gotten a little bit loose in that corner already. Michael Lively swings around to try to take advantage of that situation, and ends up just collecting, spinning Dylan around.
Michael Lively going into the pits. That's not something you want to see in the heat race, but hopefully Michael Lively can take advantage of the feature points that are on offer. Peter Hutch from the Mid-South in the 44. Getting around Uthman Badmus, who's running 2.7 seconds back behind Ethan. When we got to the traffic, Ethan Hamlet has made that gap grow and grow. And I don't know if it's bad luck for Uthman or if it's just, traffic management skills that Ethan's got on offer. I'm not sure. It does look like Tommy Cogan found his way around Sam Chapman, by the way.
Yes, but Sam Chapman is not letting him go off quietly. Seal seems to be hanging out with him, trying to take that position back. It looks like he is very much wanting to keep that podium position to himself, but he'll have to get past Tommy again. Traffic, I think, is what gave Uthman Badmus the gap he now has to the car in front of him, Ethan Hamlet. more so, I think traffic management in general has helped Ethan really walk away with this.
Indeed. Had a little bit of stream instability, it looks like, from what I'm looking at, but I haven't heard any complaints in chat. So I think we're still okay. I think maybe the connection gremlins I had last week could be gone, fingers crossed. But at least we're live right now, and we've got this awesome GT4 battle in pro category going on between Tommy Kogan and Sam Chapman.
It is very close. I think Sam is just waiting for the right moment to get the better line, the better exit from Tommy Kogan. But I don't think traffic is going to help him any here as Jaden makes his way through. Gonna hold him up in the process.
We haven't talked too much about GT4 AM right now, but we do have a battle going on between Brandon Potts and is that William Lewis?
I believe it is.
So William Lewis in the number 4, currently 4/10 off Mr. Brandon Potts. Let's take a look from the nose cam.
Looming in the background is Christopher Blue. I'd like to keep that in there. You saw him just kind of out at the end of that shot.
Yep.
So he is also still in this. Very similar pace.
Just to give you guys an understanding of the traffic situation we've been talking about, take a look at that track map right now. That is really something else. There's a lot of cars on track here at Road Atlanta. And we've got Heat 1. We've got less than 8 minutes left in this heat race, and we've still got some good battles happening pretty much everywhere on track.
So we have this. We have the battle for P3. We have a couple battles in the LMP3s with Mark Coyne, Ryan Duquesne, and
Well, we do have a battle right now. We got Peter Hutch and Aaron Romero. Aaron takes the mega defensive line, but leaves an absolute runway of space for Peter Hutchins to take P2 when he crosses the line. And looks like Aaron's losing a little bit of pace relative to Nick Alvarado, and Pete Hutchings moving around.
Ooh, Aaron Romero spins us off at turn 1.
Oh no. And he is in, wait a minute, he's in the pits? Oh, did he tow?
Yes, he jumped.
Oh man, that is unfortunate.
He caught the grass on the outside of turn 1, lost control of that left side, turned it into a spin, skated across the gravel, into the tire barrier, and towed it.
That is unfortunate. Scott Fleming, serial team 6 in the 37, and he's in P2. I had that incorrect. Scott Fleming in P2. Peter Hutchings moves up to P3, and they are chasing down Nick Alvarado. And they are running out of time to try and catch Nick Alvarado for the top spot in LMP3. Let's go take a peek. What other good fights do we've got? Is there anything that's calling to you, sir?
Tanner Schiffner, Delvin Hunter. I'm not sure if that still is a fight that is still going on, but I saw it pop through my relative, and I thought it looked interesting.
Tanner Schiffner actually is he's getting a sniff on Sam Chapman right now.
Absolutely, that's correct. As soon as I looked at that, I was like, oh, hey. I would say about a 2-car fight for P3 is turning into a 4-car fight. Delvin Hunter is able to also make up the pace to Sam Chapman and Tommy Kogan.
Yeah.
More cars coming out to play to fight for the last podium spot. It'll be pretty interesting as we get to the last almost 5 minutes of our heat race.
Man, it just looks like out of the exit of turn 10, Tanner Schiffner in the M4 just making up ground relative to Sam Chapman in the Porsche. Got LMP3 on the inside. This is going to get spicy.
Thankfully, this is one of the many corners that the LMP3s have a huge pace differential in the aero they have. And it really makes it easy for them to just kind of dip up the inside, do a pseudo over-under almost, and then just kind of grip up and keep on flowing without impeding the GT4s too much. They have a very wide entry. The LMP3s can sacrifice a little bit of time to make that entry much easier.
Good stuff, man. Muff and Moonlaw in chat, cheering on Hutch as he's in P3, currently 3.3 seconds back from Scott Fleming. Trying to pull a little bit more time on that gap to Gabe Chavez in fourth. We're on screen with the GT4 Pro category, that battle for third-ish. It looks like Sam Chapman's losing some ground relative to Tommy Kogan, but they are trying to make this exciting for the finish here at Road Atlanta. Let's go take a look again back in GT4 AM. We do have some other battles going on right now. A packed field here in the back of, well, I thought it was GT4 AM. Did I pick a name? I picked Nolan. Oh, yeah, Nolan, 13th currently in GT4 Pro. But he is back there with Christopher Blue and Logan Branson. It looks like Logan Branson. Wookie OH navigating the traffic situation a little bit better. Getting ready to go into turn 10. This is kind of crammed.
Yeah. Late lunge from Nolan to go around Christopher Blue and Logan Branson. Move done. Try to make up some of that space to where he needs to be fighting people of his own class.
Yeah, so relative to the rest of the field right now, Nolan's struggling a little bit here at Road Atlanta. Road Atlanta is a tough course. There's just no two bones about it. Like I said, I've yet to finish this race on track. Yet in an endurance race, yet to finish it on track. So GT4 AM really keeping it spicy. These guys are racing pretty close to one another, going over the rumble strips out of turn 5, and yeah, they're keeping it exciting. Let's take a look. Let's go up into Bruno Clemente. GT4 AM actually doing really well. 7.5 seconds on Eduardo Zamora. Both him and Brandon Potts are pretty close. Looks like actually William Lewis manages to make the pass around Brandon Potts to move up into third for GT4 AM, but Bruno Clemente currently just driving off.
And Brandon Potts is still trying to stick that fight with William Lewis, but yeah, Bruno Clemente taking that opportunity for all those cars that are fighting each other to just keep increasing that energy.
Oh, my heart.
Yeah.
Are they going to split? Oh, that LMP3 is just stuck.
Oh.
But man, did cooler heads prevail right there? Because I was seriously thinking we were about to witness death.
I did too. Gabe Chavez was a little upset. I heard over the voice comms that he was not happy with how that turned out. He was the one who got boxed in by the GT4s, but everyone seemed to come out no worse for wear. It's a little bit of an ego hit for Gabe Chavez. He has to make up the time now to Andrew Monroe.
Ryan Buchanan in the 6.4 running LMP3 machinery this year, and he's currently trying to run away from Mark Coyne in the 937. LMP3s are keeping it interesting as well. Let's actually take a look at it from Coyne's perspective. I don't know if we've done a nose cam yet from an LMP3. Let's do it.
I don't remember. I think
It sounds like a lawnmower. Let's do it. Yep.
A lawnmower that turns into a dishwasher as soon as it goes to a slow corner.
Yep.
Chicane about to come up.
Yep. It does, man. The other thing that I've always thought of it as is it just sounds like a robotic turkey when the traction control starts getting aggressive. But yeah, through the sweeping quarters right now, Mark Coyne is starting to lose some ground relative to Ryan Buchanan. So Ryan's starting to pull away a little bit. Let's go take a look.
Mark Coyne. I was going to say, he just had what it felt like was a way worse exit out of that chicane than Ryan Buchanan did. And I think that's where that pace, just that gap is open.
Maybe a cut? Might have gotten a cut in a slowdown?
I don't think so. I think it's just he didn't open up the initial chicane enough and ended up having to make that sacrifice in pace in the second half. Is what it looked like to me from that nose cam that we followed along with. It just seemed like he dipped in too early, which doesn't allow him to open up that second right-hander of the chicane wide enough to be able to keep up with Ryan Buchanan. Because on the rest of the track, it seems like he's holding the pace. We're hopping over the building.
Yeah, Delvin Hunter, Tanner Shifter benefiting a little bit from the LMP3 traffic, causing the GT4s to kind of like shuffle around. But Delvin in the 808 for TSR, he's right there. He's on his bumper. And also, I mean, you got Anthony. Is that or no? That's Colin Johnson, isn't it? Colin Johnson had a really good race at Oschersleben. Currently sitting in 7th in pro, which would be good points, but it does look like we are race done. I didn't even, man, I keep forgetting that we're in the heat formula.
Yep,
My bad,
we got 20
folks.
minutes.
We
It's
only
okay.
get 20 minutes. So Nick Alvarado is going to take the top spot for LMP3s with Scott Fleming and Pete Hutchings in 2nd and 3rd. Where is Mr. Ethan Hamlet, who's getting ready to come down the back straightaway right now? He's still got to cross the line. He's got a almost 4.5 second gap on Uthman Badmus, with Tommy Kogan sealing the deal to hang on to that podium spot. That has got to be a really huge boost for Tommy after Oschersleben. But Sam Chapman missing out on those extra points, but with the feature race and with the pace and the fuel management that's going to be required, can Sam Chapman in the 101 recover and gain some good points in the feature race? Ethan's going to come around the corner right now, and he's going to take that heat race win here in round 2. Ethan just kind of like picking up where he left off from Oshers. So yeah, good stuff.
Absolutely. Switched classes and has continued his winning streak here in track limits. Interesting to see. I'm curious how Sam will do in the feature. Sam seemed to be a little more consistent over a longer period of time. Sam Chapman there, who ended 4th in GT4 Pro. I think he might have the pit strategy over Tommy Kogan by a slight margin. But I would say if Tommy continues to find the pace that he did, that may make up the difference.
Yeah. So let's jump on over. Okay. So I'll pull up Heat 1. Let's get those results up on screen if we can. Okay, so we've got, AM, so I can split them up. All right, fantastic.
Sweet.
LMP3s, Nick Alvarado. Race winner, good result for Nick. That was, that was unfortunate for Andrew. Gabe Chavez coming in chatting and saying that, that was a bad deal. But yeah, so Nick Alvarado, good result for the heat race, getting a good extra set of points, getting like 15 points in the haul for the season. And if I remember correctly, if I'm looking at the standings for LMP3, Nick Alvarado was actually currently 13th, only came away with points in the feature or in the heat race. Didn't manage to get anything significant in the feature race. So we'll see.
I don't think he finished the feature race.
Yeah, I think it was pretty rough. So cars are going to do warm-ups. We're going to continue to cover the results here. Let's jump on over to that GT4 Pro result. Now in GT4 Pro, Ethan Hamlet, again, kind of picking up 50 points to Sam Chapman's 52. So it's still close between Ethan and Sam, but this result here going to push Ethan over Sam. But now we're going into the feature race. We're going to see if Sam Chapman in the 101 can do a good recovery and see if he can take the fight back to Ethan. Uthman Badmus, really good result for Uthman here. Really good result, I think. When I'm looking at Uthman, last week came away from round 1 with 30 points, puts him about P10, tied with Kyle Potter in if you put GT4 Pro and AM together. But Uthman going to try and take advantage of it.
I think it's way more reflective of Uthman's pace. Remember, he got spun pretty early on by Ethan Hamlet in the heat race of Oschersleben, and I think that set him up to where he had no good chance at recovery, even with the feature race. He ended up pretty well, if I remember correctly, but not as well. I think he would have had the chance to continue to fight with Ethan Hamlet and Sam Chapman for those podium spots.
So Tommy Kogan, currently 8th in the overall standings for GT4. That's AM and Pro together, but only scored 2 points in the heat race in Oschersleben. Came away with 32 points in the feature. Now he finishes 3rd, so he's going to come away with 10 points from the heat race going into the feature. So that's an 8 extra point haul in comparison to round 1. We're going to see if he can keep that podium pace in GT4 Pro. That will be a big deal if he can do it.
Yes, and he's currently tied for 7th with Anthony Newman over in the GT4 Pro category in championship standings. So I think with that bonus that he got over Anthony here in the heat, and if he can able to continue, like you said, good points haul, able to get himself back up the order, I think to probably where he's a little better, a little more, I think, properly seated to be in the GT4 Pro category.
Yeah. So drama at the end of the race. I'm going to have to go back and look at the replay probably afterwards, maybe talk with the guys in Discord, figure out what happened to Bruno Clemente, who finished 2nd behind Eduardo Zamora, but ahead of Brandon Potts. So something must have happened to Bruno, maybe some traffic with the LMP3s. Again, traffic is a big deal here around Road Atlanta, especially with the pace differential and some of these high-speed corners between the LMP3s and GT4s. But Eduardo coming away with a heat victory here in round 2. That's a 15-point haul going into the feature race. That's a really good recovery in terms of points in comparison to Eduardo Zamora's heat race at Oschersleben. He didn't even score in the heat race.
Yeah.
So that has got to be a big boost, big benefit for him. And then, of course, with 22 points, hanging around the likes of Corey Lobner, Christopher Blue, who came away with 25 and 24 points respectively from round 1. So that's got to be really, that's got to make Eduardo Zamora feel pretty good. It looks like we are getting ready to fire up the grid.
That is the case.
Yep. So I'm going to switch over. Let's kill this part and then hop on over to the grid if it'll show. Oh, it hasn't rolled over yet. That's fine. We'll let it roll over. And then we'll hit the grid button when that rolls over. There goes gridding. Excellent. All right, cool. Nick Alvarado, Scott Fleming, front row. I think that's going to be a banger. Scott Fleming, if we remember, Scott Fleming, Stephen Wallace, like that was watching those two lock horns in GT4 was awesome. If we could see Scott Fleming kind of reproduce a little bit of that magic in LMP3, that'd be awesome there on the front row. Andrew Monroe lines up alongside Gabe Chavez, and then Bartosz Pisecki in 5th is lining up alongside Ryan Buchanan. So Pisecki a little bit out of place, but again, with the nature of the stints here in the feature race, stuff still up to play for. With Mark Coyne, he's lining up alongside Gian Cardoso. Let's bounce down a couple of spots. And Jaden Ledbetter lines up alongside Michael Lively. Michael Lively had a really unfortunate start here in round 2. We're going to see if he can recover some spots. Alex Velasco, he's in 11th, and then we've got this weird thing happening with LMP3. I'm not sure what's happening here, but Peter Hutch is lined up alongside Aaron Romero. And then let's keep going down. Let's go down 7 more. And Delvin Hunter alongside Ryan Vogel, Brandon Potts alongside William Lewis. Yeah, this grid order is massively screwed up. So I'm taking a peek real quick and seeing if I can understand what's going on. Yeah, the order is kind of janky, but we're gonna keep going. So Sam Rasicot alongside Dylan Hendricks. If we jump down another 10 spots, let's go Ethan Hamlet alongside Uthman Badmus, Tommy Cogan, Sam Chapman, your rows 1 and 2 respectively. Tommy Cogan having that 3rd place finish has set him up for success here in round 2. And I'm just hoping, I'm wondering if Uthman can take the fight to Ethan. But we're going to find that out here in a minute. Let's go down another 3 spots and take a peek. Tanner Schiffner alongside Colin Johnson, Anthony Newman alongside Jared Jones, Eduardo Zamora. Shuffle the deck, send him out with the giant. He's like, Uthman's like, I can't do it. Austin Green alongside Eduardo Zamora. Let's take another peek down the order. We got Henry Garcia alongside Bruno Clemente, Kerry Nolan and Sean Sullivan, Christopher Blue and Logan Branson. We keep going down. Let's go 19 spots. And then we've got Matt Pyle alongside Dave Schneider and John Newman at the back of the grid. And I think we might have had some people that maybe didn't grid.
I think I saw. I think everybody grid. I think I just saw a lot of people. Just it. Yeah, I don't know. I think I saw everybody grid. That's good.
Yeah, I think we'll be all right. So Nick Alvarado behind the pace car as he's rolling around the track. We are getting ready for the feature race here, ladies and gentlemen, and that is going to be pretty exciting. I believe that one, I think we're going for 90 minutes for round 2, if I remember correctly. So with the pits being what they are, we've got 60% fuel for LMP3, 50% fuel for GT4. Fuel management is going to be key. I think probably more important than fuel around here, I think it's going to be tires. I think tires are going to be a big deal because I suspect we're going to be on a 2-stopper. And you're really going to want to get your tires right. Because if you end up in a situation where you're running on excessively used rubber there at the end, you might run into a situation where you leave yourself too vulnerable.
Definitely. I think it's going to be a really interesting scenario for the GT4 class, particularly. It's always interesting to see how many tires you can take with fuel. I think it's usually one side with the fuel, so it's you take one side of one side of the other. Got a question out of the chat, which I think we covered, but we'll recover it. I believe our feature race is going to be 1 hour and 10 minutes is what I got here on iRacing's overlay, or 100 laps, whatever comes first, which I think will be the 1 hour and 10 minutes, not the 100 laps. So, with that, I think tire management will be key for our GT4 cars, particularly. Fuel management, I think, will be the thing that decides our LMP3 category a little bit more, as they have a little bit more to grab, so a little bit less of a full fuel stop the second time around is going to be my guess.
Yeah.
It's going to be more of a splash and dash as they go green.
Yep. Nick pulls away. And here we go. They're getting ready to go into turn 1. And Nick's just got space for days.
Aaron Romero spinning Mark
that was
Coyne.
Coyne?
Mark Coyne's.
That is unfortunate. Hopefully that gets cleared up before Ethan Hamlet, who immediately just stomps the gas heading down the sweeper, and Uthman Badmus and Tommy Kogan now side by side as we get ready to go into turn 1.
Only Mark Coyne spun there. So clean track for GT4's company.
Oh, man. Sam Chapman makes a move up the inside on Tommy Kogan. And now Tommy Kogan's got, I believe that's Tanner Schiffner behind him.
Tanner Schiffner, Devlin Hunter, Brian Vogel, Colin Johnson, all kind of training up to find their moment to try to slip through. Tommy is still kind of holding the pace he's got. A shake out of Uthman Badmus up ahead.
Whoa, we got a Porsche on the grass, and we got another car in the wall.
That is not good.
Was that Colin Johnson or Eduardo Zamora that went into the wall? That might have been Eduardo. Yep, Eduardo into the tire barrier, and that right there, and he might be stuck. Yeah, he's back to the pits.
Yeah.
That is unfortunate for Eduardo Zamora, who had a heck of a heat race. So he's going to go tow it back to the pits, use that fast repair, and try and just run long. He's got to run long. He's got to run deep if he's going to try and eke this one out.
And there was that curbing that you were talking about on turn 5. Once again, claiming another victim.
Yep.
First of the feature race.
Yeah.
These LMP3 cars are pairing off to dance. They're spread out.
Indeed. Let me get the race data pulled up. I'm sorry about that, folks. We got it pulled up now, and you can take a look from the timing tower that it is lit up like a Christmas tree because we got close battles everywhere on track right now. And with LMP3s right now, Nick Alvarado getting the jump. But we've got, what is that? Is that Scott Fleming, Peter Hutchings, and Bartosz Pasecki. That is your top 4. Ethan Hamlet kind of setting the stage again. Got himself a nice 1.1, almost 1.2 second gap on Uthman Badmus, who's got Sam Chapman for company. Sam Chapman kind of trying to strike back and recover some points after having a tough feature race, but did manage to come away with a 4th place finish. He does have the jump on Tommy Kogan, so that's got to be at least some level of comfort.
Definitely. And you got to remember, all these cars have, they were running 20 minutes of fuel, most of them, for that heat race. Definitely a different fuel load, so a different feeling car for all these drivers that have just been driving light cars that had no fuel, very nimble, agile, able to respond with their tires that had been pretty fresh even after 20 minutes. And now they have these much more sluggish cars with their 50 and 60% fuel loads respectively.
Whoa! I don't know if you were following that.
I saw that.
But Austin is being just a little cheeky into turn 10. I think I saw brake lights turn on before he moved. So might want to watch that stuff. But yeah, that looked a little cheeky. But Austin Green, who was really strong in Ocean Sleep, like really good watching him fight on track in the feature race, and he's currently running. What is he running currently in? He's running behind. Well, he's behind Bruno Clemente, who again, kind of does the Bruno Clemente thing of like, I'm in GT4 AM and I'm jumped off to a 2-second gap to Simon Rascott. So yeah, it's the Bruno Clemente show. Maybe he can convert it into a win this time.
I think so. I think it was an unfortunate timing of a LMP3 that cost him his victory in the heat race.
Yeah.
Spinning him at the end there. We were talking about that drama during the heat race.
Yeah.
The results from it, I believe, as long as the LMP3 field decide not to spin more Bruno Clemente GT4s, I think he'll be all right.
Indeed. Tommy Kogan right now sitting comfortably in 4th place. We've got Devlin Hunter in 5th. Let's jump back to Ryan Vogel. Ryan Vogel, he's trying to make a move on Devlin Hunter, and the TSR boys are, I don't know if we got team orders or what's going on here, but the number 73 in the background there, that's Colin Johnson. Colin Johnson's a pretty strong customer in the Porsche as they go into turn 3, into turn 4, and lining up for the S's as they go downhill.
They are basically 1-2 for them, and seem to be doing a lot to keep Colin Johnson behind them. I think that also is giving Tommy Kogan plenty of breathing room up ahead of these cars. Indeed. Which I think would be interesting to see if there are team orders in play for the TSR boys. They'll let them fight, figure it out.
Yep, somebody we've not seen much of, Mr. Matt Pyle, currently wrestling with mostly GT4 AM cars at the moment, but he's all over. All over the back end of Sean Sullivan right now. Sean Sullivan currently running 5th in GT4 AM, trying to chase down Christopher Blue. Christopher Blue, Brandon Potts, those two are really trying to keep it close with Simon Rascott. So lots of interesting fighting in GT4 AM.
Big fights in GT4 AM and GT4 Pro. I'm really loving how these big grids just give. There's always action somewhere.
Speaking of action, we've got a gaggle of LMP3s that have just caught the GT4s.
Oh, man.
This traffic is giving me this. I'm getting heart palpitations. It's rough. But Hutch is going to hang on as he's trying to hold on to that 2nd place finish. He dives into turn 3. Bold move, but manages to make it stick.
Oh, and if you're Matt Pyle, you're probably going, why are you choosing right now?
Yeah.
Can't you wait 2 seconds?
Yeah.
But they're going to get stuck up in the train of cars going over the S's, which is so hard to pass there, regardless of
Oh, man. I thought we were going to witness a death. The LMP3s are just diving everywhere. On corner exit. Everywhere, man. This is wild. You know what we need to do? Yeah. I think I know what we need to do. I think we need to pick Scott Fleming. We need to hop on this nose cam, and we need to watch him clear some traffic, because this is something right now.
Either him or Gabe Chavez, who's right behind him. Both will work.
Look at this getting set up. Into turn 10. Yeah, Muff's like the LMP3's rude as hell. I mean, I think we're just experiencing a little bit of if gap then car. So they definitely feel like they've got to make moves and they've got to do some shaking because oh man, that was bold. So, oh dude, this is crazy. This is just a league.
So
Douglas.
stressful.
This is just a league. This is not a pay series. You think these drivers were getting paid?
Oh man.
The first question I'm gonna have them be like, "You're getting paid? Like what?"
I'd love to be paid. But
Let's take a look. So Ryan Vogel again, back to the TSRs. They're kind of locked in, doing it for the love of the game. Yeah, absolutely,
that's true.
for the love of the game. Here, let's jump back. So we got Sean Sullivan right now. Sean Sullivan right now trying to catch back up to Christopher Blue, but he's got to stay out in front of John Newman and Logan Branson, Wookie OH. This is back in the mid-pack of GT4 AM. So it looks like it's still pretty spicy in GT4 AM. I suspect we're going to see the field stretch out a bit until we get to the first round of pit stops.
Can you pull up the track map for me? I just
Oh,
want to say,
absolutely.
when you say stretch out, and you put that, I'm gonna put those in the biggest quotation marks that you can.
Yeah, you see how everybody's all kind of like bunched up right now? That
I
field
mean-
over time is going to start to stretch apart like taffy, and we're going to start to get a better
certainly.
distribution. But as of right now, everybody's just kind of like standing on top of one another. Everybody's playing musical chairs, and there happens to be only two. Oh my goodness!
Oh my gosh! Oh,
What happened there?
that is a Matt pile into a Sam Chapman. What happened to cause Sam Chapman to be pointed that direction?
I have no idea, but we're gonna take a trip back. We're gonna take a trip back
yep,
and see if we
yeah.
can understand.
No,
Sam
I've got it
Chapman is
pulled up.
just, and he's holding his brakes.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
what do you do? Oh
you're-
man,
He's doing the right thing. That has been 2 races in a row, Sam Chapman.
we got to go
I can-
back. I think we got to
I
go
can take
back
you
and
back.
see. We got to go back and see where that happened. I'm sorry, folks. I know don't
yeah.
normally pull up the UI, but we just got to see how this story unfolded because.
And I can give you the rundown as we're watching through it because it is
Oh my goodness,
pretty
man!
interesting. Yep.
Oh
So
my goodness.
Sam goes for the late lunge, and we'll hit the play button whenever you're ready,
Yeah.
and we'll talk you through it. and we will
Okay.
back.
All right. Well, that was an unfortunate turn of events for Sam Chapman. We're going to jump back into the live racing, get back
Yes.
to where it was at. Sorry about that, folks. Just a brief disconnect from Twitch, but we're back live and we still have a lot of action on track. We've got Andrew Monroe in LMP3. Let's go take a peek at Mr. Monroe and see kind of what's going down over here. Monroe is catching Scott Fleming. So with that accident, I think we lost like maybe 2 or 3 cars. Tommy Cogan's in second. We've got Vogel now in third. Colin Johnson up in fourth. It was, do you want to get the replay again? We'll go back and do the replay again. You can do the talking
Yeah.
again. Talk us back through it,
Sure.
Finn, because you
I
did.
certainly can.
You did absolute magic. I just wish that the game would have kind of like held together long enough. Sorry about that.
I will walk us. Yep, we'll walk us through it real quick again, second time for us.
All right, so let
and
me
then
switch
we'll get
over.
back to live.
All right, so we're gonna go back in time. Well, let's go back to Sam Chapman. Where's Sam at? Gonna give it to it. There we go. All right, so we're gonna
I need to follow.
back it up because the data doesn't show where it all started, just kind of how it ended. All right, so here we go.
So, coming out of the final corner, Sam has a great run on Uthman Battles. Takes the inside line, doesn't unfortunately make it set. He also turns in a little bit at the wrong moment, spinning both of them. Uthman's off track, thankfully. Sam, however, gets stuck in the middle, bounces off, cuts a LMP3 and another GT4, and now it's just chaos as Uthman gets back going. All these cars trying to avoid Sam, who's just stuck in the middle, watching all this traffic go by him. And Matt is trying to make a line on another GT4 and just slams into Sam, who is there where he's trying to move.
That is just unfortunate. And to a comment that was made earlier in chat, I'm gonna switch over to AutoCam while we're doing this, just so that we can talk for a minute. he was just. Well, I mean, that's the thing, Fitz. He's holding his brakes. He's holding his brakes. They should be seeing a yellow flag indicator. If he goes left, he's in someone's way. If he goes right, he's in someone's way. It's one of those things where you want to be predictable, and until he's got a clear way to get free, he kind of shouldn't move. It just sucks because what I think happened with Matt Pyle is when the GT4s were coming up, Matt Pyle was nose to tail with another GT4. He had no way to know that car was there.
Outside of the yellow flag and the indicators there, he had no way of knowing.
Yeah.
I also, like, looking at it from Sam's in-car, there is no good position where I would say, let's make the move.
Yeah.
Like, because there's either a car coming that you can see in the relevant, and Sam's, I would say, very counter.
Yeah.
And I think that's also really shows the fact that he held his brakes. You know, I think moments where if you hadn't been looking at the relative, you'd be like, I could have made it. But, like, as soon as you start turning, the car is going to be where you're turning into, either direction.
I mean, it's basically like Schrodinger's cat right there. As long as he sits still, like, people don't have to guess, is he going left, is he going right? But the moment that he makes a choice, well, now we know. and unfortunately for him, it just happened to be that another GT4 was glued to the rear end of another GT4 and just couldn't see it. And that's a real shame for Matt Pyle and Sam Chapman, because I think, by and large, like Sam, the spin with him and Uthman, I mean, those two are probably going to go back and review that. But, I mean, Sam was holding his brakes. I think Sam was doing as best he could. He was just in a very, very, very ugly spot.
I would say also Devlin Hunter and Gabe Chavez with the initial GT4 and LP3 caught up in that. That bumped into him before Matt Pyle made impact. And it absolutely is Devlin trying to avoid Sam to begin with, and Gabe is just where Devlin's trying to go. And they both get spun, turned around. Neither seem to have too much damage out of it, but definitely Gabe Chavez has the worst of it from his impact with the barrier.
Gabe just has had rotten luck here at Road Atlanta. I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be what's round 3 got for me, because round 2 just doesn't seem to have anything left, and it's crazy. But with this feature race, I mean, there are still points on offer for finishing. I believe there are points all the way down to 40th. I mean, you know, you never know when that 1 or 2 points that you might get from finishing further down the order could make or break your season. So we'll see if people stick around, just take the tow, get the fast repair, and get back out on track.
Gabe has already done that, I believe.
Yeah.
But with what we're seeing on track here, I think we're watching a 3-way battle for P3. And P3. I'm understanding my timing tower correctly that I'm seeing over here.
Yep. And more GT4 traffic as we get ready to go into turn 3. Scott Fleming kind of caught out, and so is Andrew Monroe. And oh man, again, up into the S's, and Logan Branson just bails out into the grass, but manages to avoid significant wreckage.
And Gian Cardoso, who is right behind them, being very patient with Logan Branson, and trying to navigate traffic.
Man, we got another tight one up here. We got Vogel and Kogan fighting for that P2 spot right now.
Oh man.
So Devlin Hunter down in 6th now behind Tanner Schiffner, splitting up the TSR duo, who are basically nose to tail for a good chunk of time. And Vogel now, both him and Kogan benefiting from that really dramatic accident in turn 1 involving Sam Chapman and Matt Pyle. Well, I mean, others were caught up in it, but the two biggest ones. I mean, man, I can't even imagine what it was like holding the wheel if you were running direct drive with that.
I almost wouldn't have been holding the wheel if I was going to be stopped like that, but I think I just would have been playing it safe. I don't think it would have been kind to your hand regardless of whether you chose it.
That is just a wild outcome. No idea how anyone handles that. But just taking a peek now through the data. I'm going to go back over the settings real quick, because I'm trying to see. One of the things I'm trying to do to diagnose here with the stream is it down to the bit rate that's causing the problem?
It could be.
We'll roll
Bitrate
it
is
like this for a
usually-
little bit. If we get another disconnect, folks, I'm going to try and get us back live as quickly as we can. We made it a really long time, though, without the
I think
disconnect.
it went really well. You picked the most crucial moment to do it.
Yeah. But, you know, we roll. We roll.
Yep.
In the
Ooh.
meantime,
Oh, okay.
wow.
Yep.
Pisetsky gets T-boned on the exit of turn 10 and then manages to catch another LMP3. How is he not meatballed?
I don't know. It looks like he should be.
He took a shot right to the side. He's got to be meatballed. There's no way. He's moving through
Unless-
GT4s. He's driving it like it's not broken. So, I mean, I guess he's fine.
Yeah.
But Pisetsky now drops behind Romero. I didn't see if that was Lively that was involved.
It was Andrew Monroe in the initial contact with us.
Oh, okay. Okay, so Monroe and
Um,
Pisetsky come together, but now Lively on the exit of turn 5, navigating through this GT4 traffic. And he can see Pisetsky in his sights.
And Pisetsky just locks up the brakes initially. And that's what causes the contact, because he slides over the nose of Andrew Monroe.
Gotcha.
And then does the rejoin that almost clips Aaron Romero.
Yeah, somebody who is having a better race this time, lined up on Monroe, is Jaden Ledbetter as they get ready to go into turn 10. And I believe that's Alex Velasco in the background. So we've got a tight fight here. Looks like P5 is very much up for grabs.
Definitely a three-way fight as we go over the start-finish line here as they pass a little bit more of GT4 traffic. Ethan Badmus, who got caught up in that turn 1 incident with Sam Chapman and Delvin. Also got caught up in that incident in the secondary incident following that.
We've been focusing a lot on these LMP3s right now. Uthman Badmus, he was involved in that turn 1 incident with Sam Chapman right now, trying to catch up to Devlin Hunter in the 808. We've got the 111, I believe. Is that one? Is the 111? That's Romero.
Yes.
So we've got some traffic is already starting to become a factor. I still don't feel like we've hit a solid distribution yet.
I feel like every time we see it start to spread out, it re-bunches up because of an incident or just the pace from some of the cars that are behind.
So it does look like we have a retirement from Sam Chapman, Jared Jones, and Eduardo Zamora. All three of those are out right now. We still got. I still believe we have all the LMP3s.
Yes. Every LMP3 that has started the race is still in it. And I think all of them. Correctly. Yes, all but one are on the lead lap. Pretty spread out.
Let's jump over, let the auto cam run for a little bit. I'm still waiting to see when we're going to see some pit stops. I'm waiting to see because we got 22 minutes ticked off the clock for 70 minutes for this feature race.
I'm guessing we'll see them within the next 5 or so, maybe 5 to 10 minutes. I'm guessing we'll see the LMP3s first and the GT4s second, because of how they burn fuel, respectively. But I think it'll be one full stop and then a splash. You need to get a set of tires for the GT4s.
Switching back over, Andrew Monroe and Jaden Ledbetter duking it out right now. Man, I think I'm going to need a nap after this race. This is nuts. It just feels like we haven't had a moment to kind of like collect our thoughts.
Yeah.
About what we're
or
seeing.
even to run down a little bit more that of timings board or top fives of the teams and all that stuff. Not teams, but of drivers in each of the classes. Just been catching up with everything else as the Ender Monroe and Jaden and Alex Velasco go around Ethan Hamlet, who is kind of just hanging out by himself right now.
Yeah, Ethan Hamlet is 16 seconds ahead of Tommy Kogan. Again, kind of like reaping some benefit from that turn 1 accident. Spaced Ethan Hamlet out relative to the rest of the field pretty far. Tommy Kogan trying to get away from Colin Johnson right now in the Colin Johnson in the 7.3 Porsche. Again, who's really strong in Oschersleben. And Ryan Vogel in the background in the number 8, not far off. But yeah, we've got some fights happening pretty much all over the track right now. I'm going to go take a peek real quick. I want to jump down and catch up with some of the GT4 AM runners. And we got Sean Sullivan right now. Currently sitting 5th, 7/10 back from, is that Brandon Potts? And then he's got John Newman, though, 7 seconds away. So he's got some comfort. Well, I mean, he's got a comfortable spot right now in P5. He's just really trying to see if he can capitalize on mistakes from Brandon Potts, see if he can squeak out a P4 from Brandon Potts. Logan Branson, right now, he's locked in with John Newman, and they are fighting for 6 and, well, P6 respectively.
P6 in class. Would love to see how that shakes down. Logan Branson is somebody who I've always found fascinating to listen to in his streams. He streams very frequently. And has, I think, such an interesting approach to learning from his what he does well, what he does, mistakes he makes, and is super communicative about that over on his Switch and on his short format TikTok, YouTube stuff.
Yeah.
So, one thing I've genuinely appreciated about his content. So I'd love to see if he applies some of that to make up the distance between him and John Newman.
As you can see, we've got a really good show going on between Uthman Badmus and Tanner Schiffner. He's on the inside line as he gets ready to go into turn 10. Is he going to be able to make it stick?
Definitely looking for it.
Looking close, but manages to get it done, and now he's got to set his sights on Delvin Hunter in the 808. Let's go from the gearbox cam of Delvin, see how fast Uthman can close down. Getting ready to go into turn 1 here. Uthman in that turn 1 disaster. I'm kind of curious if he's dealing with damage or not.
I think he only got the spin. I think he lucked out really well because it wasn't a big contact for him and Sam Chapman. It's just you're on the limit of grip in GT4s through that turn 1, turn 2 kind of complex. And if you unsettle those cars any more than they're already kind of hanging out on that edge, they'll very easily spin like we saw both Sam and Uthman go through. But I'm guessing, because I didn't see him hit the wall and I didn't see him hit any other cars, he's probably come out ego bruised, but mostly intact in terms of the car.
Interesting.
Recovery drive for him, and trying to get past Delvin Hunter, which he has been on the tail of 4. I'm not sure what happened to cause him to be behind Tanner Schiffner. And then a mistake in his own or some defensive driving from Delvin.
All right, so while we were watching this fight right now, as Uthman Badmus is trying to recover some spots lost, and he's catching up to Devlin Hunter in the now I'm messing it up. Is it?
Yeah, Devlin. You're right. You're right. I'm wrong.
Okay.
I've been saying it wrong this whole time. I apologize.
So Devlin Hunter in the 808 for TSR. He's currently trying to hold off Uthman Badmus, but Uthman's pretty quick, and just in terms of like lap pace, last lap was a 26.0 for Uthman and 26.3 for Devlin, so he's going to have to do some work if he wants to try and hold that spot on Uthman. But while we were watching this battle, I do want to cut back because we do have Nick Alvarado right now, back down now in P10, but you might be asking why. That's because he took the early pit stop, pitted on lap 20, but him and Aaron Romero, pit stop times my favorite part of racing when we get into pit strategy, talking about how people handle their pit stops, talking about how people handle their strategy. We've got 47.8 line to line for Nick Alvarado. We've got 53.6 line to line for Aaron Romero. Significant time loss for Aaron Romero relative to Nick Alvarado in the pit stops. Where might you say? On the jacks, 20.65 seconds for Nick Alvarado, 25.07 for Aaron Romero.
I'm wondering if Nick just took 2 tires.
Maybe.
That's my curiosity. I know we also have Jaden. We also had Alex Velasco hop in there.
Yep.
A good number of LMP3s cycling in for the pits. The first of probably 2, based on the fact that we are, I think, still just shy of the 30-minute mark. We're just past it.
Yep.
And so we'll have another, probably a splash dash, I guess, for the second pit stop for all of those vehicles.
So this is going to be interesting, right? We got Ethan Hamlet in the pits now cycling out. Now, here's the thing.
Who was that? Oh, my gosh.
He's taking the early stop. Ethan Hamlet's taken the early stop relative to the other GT4 Pro competitors. But now he's going to cycle out behind GT4 AM that are going long. Because we've got, let's take a look. We got Christopher Blue. We've got Sean Sullivan. So we've got some GT4 AM runners that are going long that are still out in front. But both him and Bruno Clemente, both, so GT4 Pro, GT4 AM, both stopping on the same lap. Although Ethan was significantly out in front. 56.67 pit lane travel time for Ethan. Bruno Clemente, minute 3. So that is a lot of time in the pits. Don't know if he was doing anything with repairs, damage, or taking full sets of tires. We'll have to find out when we get to the end of this race.
I'm going to guess that's probably what Bruno took, was a full set of tires or at least one axle, which is usually the thing to do here. One thing I would also love to note, definitely someone who had one of the rougher pits was Michael Lively, who came screaming in, which I found wild. Just making contact with the barrier on the inside and then the outside of pit lane on the engine.
Well, I see what you mean. So let's go back and see if we can find that in the data. You said Michael Lively had himself a nice little moment.
Yep, nice little moment coming into pit lane.
Let's see if we can find that out. So get ready to go into the pit lane here and look at him, just absolute madman, and touches the wall. Oh yeah.
Yep. Touches both walls.
Okay, so ping pong, little ping pong.
Yep.
Hopefully not a meatball on that left front when he tapped the wall, but we'll have to go see how that turns out for him.
I mean, he did have the lucky ability to check that fast repair real quick before he came into his pit box.
Indeed.
Yeah. We have the last of pit stops happening for the rest of the field. Question from chat: is this a one or two pit stop race? I believe it, like we've talked about prior, we've guesstimated that it's going to be a one full stop that we just saw now, and then another shorter stop. So 2 technically, but it will not be 2 full stops. It'll be 1 big stop and then 1 short fuel stop at most.
I mean, I'm suspecting that, but the other thing I'm kind of curious about too is, are we dealing with any of these early stoppers? Are we dealing with somebody who's going to be doing a little bit more of maybe a quick stint here in the middle? I don't know, but we'll have to see. But Ethan Hamlet right now does manage to sneak around Tommy Kogan and Ryan Vogel, who are still in the pits. Let's take a peek at Tommy Kogan and Ryan Vogel, because they are coming out right now. And it does look like Tommy Kogan is going to find his way out in front of Vogel, but look who's in his rear view. Colin Johnson, and he's still there, never left. Like
Nope.
they pitted at different times, still nose to tail.
That shows you like the amazing consistency that we've seen out of Colin Johnson and Tommy Kogan in this race. That they are both, still neck and neck. battling over P2 in class after the pit cycle. And we got a LMP3 of Andrew Monroe trying to get around them.
And Tommy gets a little bit of a shove, and now we just got to go. Now we got to go to the nose cam because it's gonna get spicy coming down here. Look at and we get nothing but car butt right when we make the transition and getting ready to go into turn 10. Oh man, he's right there. Is he gonna bump him? Gonna bump him a little bit? Oh, we're getting some gearbox. We are getting some gearbox.
Does not make the pass as they go into the chicane.
Tommy Kogan getting ready to go into turn 10. Ha! I'm in danger.
But both, I think the big thing between the two of them is really respecting the space and the cars they're racing with very well. And I think Colin, not taking the moment to further pressure Tommy Kogan and trying to just let LMP3 traffic through, pick up the battle on the far side, because I think Colin Johnson wants this battle to be over strictly driver capability between the two of them.
Yeah, they are glued together right now. Taking a look further down. Let's go take a peek. We've got the newcomer in the McLaren. I'm gonna say Simon Rassicot. If I get it wrong, Simon, just let me know, and we'll try and say it correctly on the next stream. But in the 623, dealing with some LMP3 traffic, and he is losing ground to Sean Sullivan.
Definitely, and looking to try to keep, I believe that is Brandon Potts behind him, behind him really. Christopher Nolan, I think, cut in the middle between the two of them. So definitely trying to make up the ground there. Sean Sullivan, I think, was also on a recovery drive of his own after a spin early in the race, kind of putting him where he's at now behind Christopher Blue.
One thing I'm looking at while we're watching this action on track, I'm waiting to see Uthman Badmus drop off the jacks to figure out where he's going to shuffle out. Is he going to find his way around Devlin Hunter, maybe Tanner Schiffner on the out? Let's see. It does not look like it's going to happen. It does not look like it's in the cards. Uthman Badmus coming out of pit road right now, and he cycles out behind him. Minute 2 for Uthman Badmus. That is at least 3 seconds left on the table relative to Devlin, and probably closer to 5 for Tanner.
And he seems to be continuing to try to catch up and pass Devlin. Hasn't been successful since he ended up falling behind him. So we'll see if he's able to rally that effort. As I think he has the better pace out of the 3 of them, if he can get around him. And then Ryan Vogel as well is in this mix, trying to get caught back up to Colin Johnson and Tommy Kogan.
On the gearbox of the offline McLaren 66, Sean Sullivan trying to hold P4 or P3 on Racicot in the 623. So final podium spot is very much up for grabs. And Brandon Potts, he's in the background. He's not going away. So it is very interesting down here in GT4 AM at the moment.
Like I said, if I'm in the position of Brandon Potts, I'd probably be fuel saving and seeing where I can make up a little bit of ground in the pit cycle to jump ahead of them, or be patient enough to be waiting for either a race incident or a mistake from one of them to begin picking up momentum to pass both.
This race is a bit of a big deal because, I mean, these guys are trying to gain as many points as they can relative to their class. And, with the heat race bonus points on offer, a lot of points available in round 2. And the season, I mean, we're just getting started. It's still up for grabs. I think most people are going to look at that gap between Ethan Hamilton and Tommy Kogan and think it's all over. But if the grid sizes stay this way, Ethan's got to navigate traffic just like everybody else, and he's great, but he ain't perfect. So it's going to be interesting to see how the rest of the season plays out.
Certainly, I think especially as we get a little further into it, and if Ethan Badmus and Sam Chapman are able to really take that fight to Ethan, I think Ethan has a very real possibility of dealing with more than just traffic to get through.
Yeah.
In terms of podium positions and battling people in his class.
So while we were watching Peter Hutchings and Scott Fleming moving through the GT4 traffic on approach down into turn 10, is he going to do the lunge on Sullivan? He does, and everybody gets through okay, but that sets Sullivan up maybe for a charge from Racecott as they're getting ready to go into turn 1.
Maybe. It's possible, but they also have to get through traffic. And I think LMP3 traffic is going to definitely hamper Racecott's attempt at a pass here through the turn 1. And best waiting to get momentum through the S's and either grab a better exit at turn 5 or wait for that long straight on the back end to really gain time in the draft.
Turn 5 is a tough one. High risk, high reward. We've already seen many a car die on turn 5, but the defensive line in turn 6 is strong. What you want to do is you really want to try and see if you can pinch the driver on the defensive line and see if you can compromise their entry into turn 7, because then they basically have to suffer with the loss of pace down the back straight.
There's a look from Racecott going into turn 6. He ended up not taking it, and I think he's going to wait for that draft to get past going into turn 10 if he's lucky.
We got some more LMP3 runners coming. I believe that's Pisetsky.
Yep. And Michael Lively.
Michael Lively having a better race this time around.
Certainly. Despite the pit entry, I think he's had a pretty clean race, which I think has really benefited him. Pisetsky's great recovery drive after the really early spin.
How is Nick so far ahead? He lost it in turn 5. Has he pitted yet? Yeah, he pitted, and he had an excellent pit stop relative to the field. I'm thinking we're going to see Nick take an early stop at 20. We're going to see him take an early second stop, and I think the reason why we're seeing the time difference between him relative to the rest of the LMP3 field, I don't think he took any tires. He was only on the jacks for 20 seconds.
I'll look when he pitted. I don't think he did.
So if Moonlaw is trying to figure out where he's got the pace relative, I think it's all in the pit stop. Right. And relative to last lap, Nick did get held up significantly in traffic. He did only post a 119 last lap, but he just came across the line. And relative to lap 32, a 116.0 from Nick Alvarado and a 116.5 from Peter Hutchings. So if Hutch is going to try and seal the deal, he's got to find a half second somewhere. No, it's okay, man. Dude, there's so many variables to follow on screen right now. It's anybody's guess. But, I mean, the only thing is that we've kind of got some data up on screen. But if you would like to follow along at home with what we've got going on, give that link a try and see if you can follow along with the data that we're looking at.
I will say I did not see Nick be on jacks at all.
Oh, yeah. I think he's
fuel only.
Yep, I think that is definitely a fuel-only stop. It does look like we have Bartosz Pisetsky and Michael Lively both jumping to the pits. We're going to try and see if we can go back enough in time to see what happened here. We're going to see. So into turn 1. Pisetsky loses it and then collects Lively. And then he's got to back up. Lively gets around him. I think both of them had to go back to the pits, but the join, and I think he's just got broken steering. Yeah, he's gonna tow it.
Yeah,
he's gonna tow it at that point. That's
broken steering for both of them.
Yeah, that is super unfortunate for both of them. Gabe Chavez also in the pits. Let's see if we can figure out what happened to Gabe. Although Gabe shows is just entering pit lane like legitimate. Is he taking his short stop now? I wonder.
Probably could be.
I mean, the thing is that when you're in a race like this, it's like if you know your strategy isn't necessarily sticking and you're trying to recover, maybe you try something different relative to everybody else. Who knows? Let's jump back now. Devlin Hunter, Uthman Badmus, Tanner Schiffner. The battle for P5 and GT4 Pro is still on.
Ryan Vogel is kind of on his own. As he is.
How did you know that I had live timing going? You know me. You know me. If I fell down and broke my leg, basically Excel rows would just start pouring out on the ground with numbers in them. All right, so Link works great. Nick is guaranteed fastest lap at least. One off-track moment. Yeah. One Nick moment, one baboon moment for Nick. Anyway, back to the GT4 action that we're following along with. So Devlin Hunter seems to be holding Uthman Badmus. And Tanner Schiffner is also doing a fantastic job right now, hanging on to that 5th place spot.
So Tanner is doing a great job, and I think Devlin's just waiting. I think he's trying to feel safe, give a little bit of time, try to make his move, figure out where he wants to be at the end of it all, and it's really just kind of being patient, which I think is what has kept him in the fight.
Ooh. After I almost saw the rear end of that M4. Start the slow, depressing spin of death.
Caught it thankfully and let the car grip before applying any more input. Because I think the thing that you usually do, the thing that I've done when I've been driving the AMG GT4 in the past, is as soon as you start to slide and you've got the pace and the room to do it, you just kind of straighten up the steering, let it grip up, and then start to move. You don't want to keep adding inputs to a car that's already sliding, so it'll only make it worse.
So Pisetsky's still in the pits. I'm hoping that's not race done for Pisetsky because if he could get some more points, I mean, relative to the LMP3 field, there's definitely points on offer because I mean he's probably not even going to get into the single-digit point totals or the low single digits if he can just finish the race. Alex Velasco, go ahead.
I'll say spin for Scott Fleming. He thankfully doesn't collect anybody and is able to get it going in the middle of the S's.
Oh, I see it. Let's go take a peek at it.
Just
all right, so looks like yeah. Let's see. Oh yeah. Oh, I see it. Yeah, just unsettled. Oh man, and look at the fast hands from Logan Branson and then Gian Cardoso. And just manages to sneak away with no damage. So big moment for Scott Fleming in the Serial Team 6 LMP3, but man, he managed to keep it together. And he's still got some good points to bring home.
And if he has the pace, he can probably try to catch up to Gian Cardoso, who is now in 3rd position. Which, I mean, if I was Gian, I would definitely be very thrilled with how my evening is going. A little unfortunate, it's always at the expense of others sometimes, but to be in P3 in LMP3 and be on the podium, it's got to be a good feeling.
So as we were talking about before, the field has started to stretch out. So we got a pretty decent distribution of cars on track. Tanner Schiffner really desperately trying to hang on to this P5 finish, which would be a good result for the pure driving M4. So he's just going to try and make that M4 as wide as possible. As we get into what are we almost now? We're 47 minutes, almost 48 minutes into a 70-minute race.
Yeah. We are just over the halfway point. We're actually good ways over the halfway point. I'm thinking we got an hour 30. It is an hour 10. So we've been over the halfway point for about 10 minutes now. And it's hard to, like we saw with Gabe Chavez and a couple others, it's when do we want to pick our final pit stops so we are, good at the end. And I think we're seeing various people take that trip down to pit lane at various times as it suits the pit cycle and the pit strategy we're going for.
I'm just looking right now at some other interesting data. top speed LMP3. Peter Hutchings with 259 kilometers per hour, and that is at least 4 kilometers faster than any other LMP3 on the track right now.
Wow.
So Hutch is running himself a nice, fast, loose setup, and it seems to be paying dividends. I mean, he is 6 seconds back from Alvarado, but he is also holding a growing gap to Gian Cardoso and Scott Fleming in 3rd and 4th, respectively, in LMP3.
I'd love to see what the second pit stop work brings for both Nick Alvarado and Peter Hutch to see whether or not that gap opens or closes more between the two of them for P1 and the top step of the podium.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be an interesting race. What's up, Ripper? Man, I haven't seen you in chat in a while. Hope you're doing well, sir. The one and only Ripper in chat, ladies and gentlemen. Somebody who I've sim raced with for, oh man, we're both old. We're both ancient, so it's been a while. But yeah, we've got Colin Johnson right now. He is trying to chase down Tommy Kogan as they get ready to go into turn 10, 10A, 10B. One of the LMP3s, I believe that might have been Jaden moving around him. And yeah, going through the fast right-hander down Phil's corner, as Ripper knows it. Because the reason why we call the front straight at Road Atlanta Phil's corner is because I wrecked right there trying to dodge an LMP2 accident in iRacing.
Oh man!
Again, like I said at the start of the program, Finn, this is my white whale. I've never finished this race. Never finished this race on tarmac. I've never taken the checkers from anywhere other than pit lane.
Jeez.
It's just brutal.
Well,
it's brutal.
Yeah. It is a very unforgiving road course for any classic car. I think it's shown how unforgiving it is for our LMP3s and GT4s we have out here this evening. Conversely, I have finished. I've just never finished well.
Yeah.
I have seen a checker flag fly as I've driven under it, though. It's been a couple years, but I've seen it.
Oh man, these LMP3s now are catching back up to that GT4 battle for 5th. And we're on board with Aaron Romero in the 111 as he's trying desperately to catch Alex Velasco in the 777. We've got a nice battle here for 7th in LMP3 with Ryan Duquesne, who we haven't seen a lot of in this race, but Ryan Duquesne kind of keeping his head down, nose clean, just trying to bring home as many points as he can in the mid-pack LMP3. And, oh, man, shooting the gap there, Aaron Romero, getting around Tanner Schiffner, and now passing the number 8, Ryan Vogel, and they're going to catch back up to this battle for P3 between, or P2 between Tommy Kogan and Colin Johnson here in a minute.
I think Ryan just kept his head down, like you said, and I think it's really paid off for him to be in P7. And I think that's been the name of the game for, I think, a lot of the LMP3 field in general is just to keep your nose clean and don't, crash it, and you'll get at least a good double-digit points finish.
Look at Uthman. Yeah, I'll stop moaning about it, Ripper. I'll stop moaning about it. Hey, man, I've been doing some ACC. It's been fun. But yeah, we've been racing together, me and Ripper, a long time. But he says he's coming back to sim racing. That means everybody better watch out because Ripper is not slow. Ripper is not slow, and he leaveth no quarter on track. Let's put it that way.
Speaking of leaveth no quarter, that was a look from Devlin.
Yeah,
trying to overtake Tanner Schiffner there.
And he had to, man, because when we were getting ready to go into turn 6, Uthman Badmus was going to join Devlin in the back seat of that Merc because they were super close.
They were, and it's only spread out a little bit, I think, because Uthman wants to give him a little bit of grace to not get caught up in another incident like he did with Sam Chapman earlier on this evening.
Excuse me? Am I seeing this correctly? Am I seeing Nick Alvarado now down to only a diminishing gap?
Yeah.
What has happened? Nick Alvarado is suddenly staring down the flashing lamps of Peter Hutchings as they go into turn 6. This is for the lead of LMP3. And Nick shoving Schiffner wide. He's got to take every amount of track he can steal from the GT4. Suddenly, the lead of LMP3 is in question, and suddenly, Tommy Kogan's got a battle on his hands for P2 in GT4 Pro. So, and meanwhile, Ethan Hamlet is just, doing the grocery run, 30 seconds ahead.
Just off on his own, turning laps, staying out of traffic, staying out of trouble.
And what did I say? What did I say about him pulling the trigger early? Although he may have pulled the trigger a little too quick because Nick Alvarado just went into the wall.
Yes. Taking the Michael Lively line.
Yeah.
Lane from the sounds of it.
That is a gamer entry if I've ever seen one. On the brakes. Again, he did the same thing. Locks up, touches the inside wall, and then gets shunted out to the outside wall. And Nick Alvarado is going to have at least some damage to contend with. I'm pretty sure he's got to take tires this time.
I didn't see him hop up on jacks. All I saw him take was fuel, and he's already back out moving.
What on earth are you doing,
I did see a fast repair because I did watch his panels fixed to where they're supposed to be. So he took that probably because he was making friends with the wall. But yeah, running on one set of tires. And realistically, I'm not super surprised if you take care of your tires on LMP3s and on GT4s. They may not be the happiest at the end of the day, but they definitely will work for you. The question is whether will they work better than somebody who has fresh tires is going to be a big question when we reach the end of the race, and whether Peter Hutch can keep his lead that he now has over Nick Alvarado.
So racing separate from classes right now. Christopher Blue is trying to chase down Austin Green right now. Again, he had a stellar Oschersleben, but Christopher Blue right now, absolutely just no drama, keeping it consistent. 4 seconds back from Clemente. And has Clemente gone in for his second stop? Yeah, he has not.
No. I think he should probably soon, I hope, because he had a little bit of damage from when Isetsky and Lively got into contact in turn 1.
Interesting.
He was bumped off of by Michael Lively when that incident occurred. So I'm wondering if he's got damage, which is causing him to be why Chris Blue is painting on him even more than just a pace differential.
Looking back through the data, and I'm trying to figure out what happened to Uthman. Because Uthman, okay, my data must have been just wrong for a brief moment because it looked like Uthman was 18 seconds back, not 800ths back.
No, I say Uthman is busy, making himself comfy in the backseat of a Mercedes right now. So I don't know where you're getting your data from.
Yeah. We're trying to figure out which German manufacturer is going to come out on top when we're talking about a battle for P6 here. Because P6 for Uthman and Devlin, they both would love to take 5th away from Tanner Schiffner.
True, yeah.
But I think they're probably more concerned with themselves right now and less concerned with Tanner.
Yep, that's fair.
Like Tanner, you want to know what Tanner's best defense right now is? Devlin. Because the thing is that Devlin is keeping Uthman off his back, and Uthman is keeping Devlin from catching Tanner.
LMP3 traffic over the way of Nick Alvarado also joining the mix.
Yep, and he is still on those same tires.
Yep.
And again, he forces Tanner wide, and this might make it dramatic for these two. Let's get on board with Tanner.
Good run.
What a camera angle.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Well, that was the fun of that car.
He's like, I can see you.
And
oh, he's going to have the inside
too
line.
Wide, yep.
I think Tanner's not going to fight it.
No, I don't think he is. I don't think he's got a whole lot of room to fight if he wanted to. Uthman Badness, this is quickly going to try to follow him. Oh, there's a look.
Yep, Uthman
tucks it back in.
Yep, he's trying to get Tanner off his game. Thank you all for joining us for round number 2 of the Sports Car Series, brought to you by Track Limits Racing. We're here at Road Atlanta, and we've got we're almost down to our final 10 minutes. And the racing action in GT4 Pro is kind of the stuff to watch right now.
The only person I don't think that's pit that needs a pit to second pit stop is Scott.
Somebody who's in the pits right now on his in lap is Ethan Hamlet, and I think, to be honest, I think he's got enough time to stop and still come out in front of Tommy Kogan.
Yes, absolutely.
So we got Sam Resicott and Dylan Hendricks both coming into the pits. We're going to jump back to that battle for P5 because that right there is the one to watch. Ethan Hamlet still in his pit. Yep. So Scott Fleming in the lead of this race after Nick Alvarado took the pit stop. Now 19 seconds back is Nick Alvarado. Still waiting to see Scott Fleming pull the trigger for a second one. And there's only a 2.4 second gap between Peter Hutchings and Mr. Nicholas Alvarado. Is this the new 949? Man, where are all these old names coming from? Matt Bergen, how are you doing, dude? Oh man, I haven't seen you in a minute. Is this the new 949? I mean, I'm here. Beltan's not, but Beltan's raced in this series before. He's not racing right now because he's like super busy with work and stuff. Coasty hasn't sim raced in a minute, and I'm just in the broadcast booth because I'm helping Track Limits get this whole series off the ground. But the man in the booth with me that you probably never heard his voice before is Mr. Finicini, and we're watching this GT4 battle as it's starting to heat up between Uthman Badness and Tanner Shifter.
He's looking for that inside, what would be the outside line as it comes turn 10. It'll be interesting to see if Uthman wants to hold on to that or wants to maybe pick the over-under, depending on how far he gets. Looks like he's going to try to finish that move. But I think Tanner's maybe playing the long game.
Yeah, I don't think Tanner's. Yeah, I don't think Tanner's gonna fight it. To be honest, I don't think Tanner's race is with the top 4 right now. Like I think right now top. What would that put him? P7 right now in the mid pack would be some good points haul for Tanner Shifter relative to the front runners right now. Actually, I think the one that's out of place right now that's really going to make bank is Ryan Vogel running in 4th right now.
Oh yeah.
But Ryan's also got problems. He's got 2 problems. He's got Devlin Hunter and Uthman Badness chasing him down now.
Both of them have gotten around Tanner Shifter. I would say the fight. Oh, Tommy Kogan just getting passed by all of them.
Oh, Tommy Kogan. We got to go down and see what happened there.
I believe he had a gnarly off track. Got loose going into turn 5.
Okay, Tommy Kogan. Oh, there's a touch with an LMP3 and off track at turn 5. That is unfortunate. The 88 on the inside in the S's, and we talked about it this whole time. That is so awkward of a spot. And Tommy Kogan's really solid second place finish is now in the bin. And somebody who just made bank is Colin Johnson in the 73. So horrible luck for Tommy Kogan. And I gotta wonder, man, that was Andrew Monroe. Andrew Monroe currently in 6th in LMP3. Andrew's had a tough race here. He's managed to keep it. He's managed to keep it going, but he has had a tough race. Somebody who has caught me by surprise. Currently running in second, Scott Fleming finds his way around Peter Hutchings after the pit stop.
After the pit stop.
After the pit stop. So this is legitimate for position right now. P2 in LMP3 is still up for grabs, and Peter Hutchings has Gian Cardoso and Jaden Ledbetter all over him right now like a bad rash.
Just as a head, like, wow, what a. Scott takes, I think, maybe like a touch of fuel, maybe a gallon. You know, if we're not talking in the good old Imperial system.
Yeah.
Just stops the car. It looks like it.
I hope I didn't just lose Finn.
You didn't. I just was. Let me try this again.
Yeah.
So Scott just took like the shortest amount of fuel I've ever seen.
Yeah. Yeah. 6.9 seconds. That's it. That's it.
2 gallons of fuel.
Yep.
And he was like, if you had a pit crew model for this game, this simulation, we're gonna get.
Oh, the 44 Peter Hutchings is going to lose out big time, and both track limits LMP3s are going to find their way around him. And that is unfolding for Peter Hutchings right now.
I mean, you were talking about him having a loose setup, and that is a double-edged sword usually, as they are very willing to just slide out from under you, especially in the later stages if you don't have. And especially as he's gotten onto the marbles there, he just had no traction to take the car anywhere.
So let me tell you, one of these things is not like the other, and that is this Uthman Badmus right now in second place with running on 1 pit stop right now. He's still probably got to take another pit before he can call it done and dusted. And you want to talk about somebody who has been absolutely clinical, Christopher Blue, 6/10 away from Bruno Clemente.
And I'm wondering who has the better pace here in the long game as we get towards the last, 5-10 minutes here?
Yeah.
Less than 5 minutes, sorry. Last 4 minutes. And if Bruno Clemente can keep Chris Blue behind him for the lead of GT4M.
This is some crazy stuff, but something else that's crazy happening up in the LMP3s right now. We got Jaden Ledbetter and Peter Hutchings dealing with GT4 traffic and duking it out. Oh, Jaden has to go to the grass. The pass on the grass. Taking the lawnmower for a spin. Where's Dylan Hendricks? He is currently sitting in, I believe, 10th in GT4 AM right now.
I believe so.
Yeah, he is 7th right now in GT4 AM behind Logan Branson. This is wild, man. We are seeing LMP3s trying to navigate their way around all this stuff. And Peter Hutchings is off track on the exit of turn 11. And I think that's the 52. Who is that?
That is the 52.
Yeah.
And that 52 just makes the dive for pit entry.
Yep.
And happens to be right where Peter Hutch was trying to pass.
Oh. Yeah, that is crazy stuff, man.
Devlin Hunter barely avoids Peter Hutch as Peter Hutch comes to a stop on the outside. Dave Schneider, he's going to try to spin it around into pit lane, which he's able to do.
It was Schneider in the 52.
Yes, yep.
Yeah, that is unfortunate for Dave. He has had a pretty dramatic road Atlanta, if I'm honest.
I'd say I think his has been, while dramatic, I think one of the kinder amounts of drama that some of our GT4s have had.
You're probably not wrong on that. We are in the final 2 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. We got an 8-second delta between Nick Alvarado and Scott Fleming. Gian Cardoso 1.1, Jaden Ledbetter 1 second back. Peter Hutchings now kind of in 5th, unless something dramatic happens. We're on board with Tanner Shifter, who is trying to keep up with Tommy Kogan, and they're both trying to catch back up to, is that
Maybe Ryan Vogel.
Yeah, Ryan Vogel. Yeah.
P4.
And Vogel. Or no, that's not Vogel. That's a back marker. That's the 10 car.
Yeah.
And the 10 car is Mr. Dylan Hendricks, who we were talking about earlier.
Hey.
So, what is happening? What is happening? We've got cars all over the place. Gian Cardoso now under threat from Jaden Ledbetter.
You know, we heard at the top of the stream Jaden going the last first challenge, and I think he's taking it maybe a little too seriously.
Yep.
To try to get onto the podium, which will be interesting to see. See if Gian wants to fight him for it, or if Gian's gonna listen to team orders that may pop up. I don't think
boring team orders.
Yeah, those.
Jaden's gonna punch the multi-21 button. Oh man, Christopher Blue, he's pushing. He gets loose on the exit of 5. But Bruno Clemente is gonna skate off a little bit further into the distance, but only 7/10. It is still very close, and Gian Cardoso's got his hands full. I don't think there's any team orders happening here. I see names flip-flopping as they go into turn 1, into turn 3, side by side, and I believe I might have just gotten disconnected again.
Oh, big spin.
Nope. Oh, Gian. Oh, I had the camera on Gian. That's what happened. So yes. I think there was a blink out for Gian.
It might have been a blink out for you, because I think I lost you.
Interesting. That, I'm telling you, Arkansas Internet, it's fabulous. Nope, I'm still here, Muff. I can see you in chat, so I think you can see me and me being live. And Gian Cardoso and Logan Branson are in pieces on the exit of the S's. Apologies, folks. We're back live. Sorry about that. Bruno Clemente does manage to hang on to the win in GT4 AM from Christopher Blue. Ethan Hamlet, Uthman Badmus, and Colin Johnson ended up being your podium finishers.
Uthman manages the one stop?
Uthman managed the one stop.
Gosh.
That's what I'm seeing.
Yep, that's what I'm seeing too. I'm feeling like I have I got a little bit of deja vu to when my good friend and fellow team endurance teammate Vincent LaRue joined the LMP3 field, and he did the one stop at Long Beach. Was it Long Beach or was it the week before that?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. It might have been the one stop at Long Beach, because we've seen the one stop before from, or the no stopper in the original sports car series, which was part of New World Sim Racing from Ethan Hamlet.
Yes.
So with that, your car died exactly when you got into your pit. That's wild.
Oh,
yeah, he was saving like crazy. Okay, so there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Yep. The fuel save on the right course, right circumstances, it is possible for the one-stopper in the GT4s. Kind of curious to see if we see any action like that in round number 3. I'm going to pull that data up right now while we're getting the results. And we're going to be March 1st. Be back live here at Track Limits Racing for Twin Ring Motegi. We're going back.
I'm stoked.
That is going to be a very interesting race. But real quick, let's jump on over to the results for round number 2 for that feature race. Let's get the LMP3s pulled up. Here we go. Oh, is it still? Oh, it's still calculating. Okay, there we go. All right, so Nick Alvarado with the win. So Nick Alvarado coming away with some really good points here in round 2. Scott Fleming, he's going to get himself a nice point total in the 3-7 Serial Team 6 LMP3. Jaden Ledbetter making it happen from seemingly from nothing, getting that 3rd place finish for Track Limits Racing. Peter Hutch in 4th, Andrew Monroe in 5th. Alex Velasco getting some good points in 6th place. Mark Coyne finishes 7th. Gian Cardoso, after the accident, terrible circumstance, settling for an 8th place finish. Gabe Chavez, Ryan Buchanan. Let's jump down the order a bit. Let's go down a little bit.
I think we only have one more finisher for LMP3, and that is Aaron Romero.
Yeah, Aaron Romero finishing 11th, and then we've got some did not finishes from Bartosz Pisecki and Michael Lively. Let's jump on over to now the GT4 guys. So in GT4, Ethan Hamlet. GT4 Pro, top of the timesheets, or top of the points in the 4.6. I mean, he was light years beyond everybody. Uthman Badmus pulls the one stopper to come across second with Colin Johnson in third, Ryan Vogel in fourth. Tommy Kogan, after the drama, still manages to get the 5th place finish. So that's not what he wanted. He wanted that 2nd place finish, I'm sure, but it's probably at least some level of cold comfort that he's going to get a 5th place finish in the feature race, which is going to be a huge points haul for him. Tanner Schiffner manages to come across in 6th, Devlin Hunter in 7th, Anthony Newman 8th. Henry Garcia not having quite the success that he had at Oschersleben in terms of pace, but getting a 9th place finish here at Road Atlanta, and Austin Green in 10th. Let's take a look, because I think we have some more pro category runners. Yeah, we do. We got some sad news with Kerry Nolan. Kerry Nolan finishes 11th. Matt Pyle, Sam Chapman. That was rough. Matt Pyle finishes the race 3 laps down. So good on Matt for getting some points. But Sam Chapman and Matt Pyle coming together at turn 1. That was super unfortunate. Jared Jones also out after lap number 1. And that is your GT4 Pro results. Let's jump on over to GT4 AM now. Bruno Clemente does manage to squeak out 7/10 on Christopher Blue. Sean Sullivan in 3rd. That's a good points result for Sean Sullivan. Newcomer Simon Racicot in 4th place with Brandon Potts in 5th. Dylan Hendricks finishes in 6th place. I believe that was after Logan Branson got collected in the collision with Gian Cardoso.
Yes.
John Newman, Logan Branson finished 7th and 8th respectively, with William Lewis and Dave Schneider 9th and 10th. Let's take a look and see if there are any other runners in GT4. Eduardo Zamora is the other one who had to take a retirement after the start of the race. So that was wild. I'm gonna need to I think I'm gonna need to take a breather after that one, because my voice is starting to go.
Absolutely. Well, I'll fill in the gap here with what it is. The incidents that we saw throughout this race were definitely ones I'm going to be very interested to see what comes of the review, as I'm super curious where that's going to fall. My heart goes out to Sam Chapman, who had a pretty stellar heat race, despite getting and having, after a rough first week with LMP3 traffic just not being kind to him, coming back to have a good solid heat race into what would have been a solid, I think, points finish for the feature, had Matt Pyle not collected him as much as he did. Or fully slammed into a stopped car the way he did. But it's that is the nature of racing, and sometimes, and I think it was just the comedy of errors that situation developed into.
It was tough, man. The traffic here at Road Atlanta is brutal, and we talked about it the whole stream. LMP3s and GT4s basically trying to navigate Sector 1 in its most awkward forms, and we saw some really awkward incidents given the speed differential, especially with the high speed stuff. I don't think there's anything you can do about that. I think that's just a circumstance of the track. It's tough, and sometimes you can try and put on your bravest face and do the best track management that you can, and it's just a tough outcome. And the only thing you can do is try and bounce back, get to the next round, try and maximize your points total. And with that, we'll talk about the next round. So I do believe we have another heat feature series coming up. So 90 minutes total, 20-minute heat race, 70-minute feature for Twin Reg Motegi, round number 3. And then we go over to round number 4 for the Charlotte Roval. Again, another 90-minute heat feature format. And that's going to be March 15th. So we got March 1st, round 3, Twin Ring Motegi. March 15th, round 4 at the Charlotte Roval. I'm really looking forward to Charlotte. I really am looking forward to this grid. I think it is going to be a bit of chaos, but I think, again, another one of those things where if you can manage your traffic, try and keep your nose clean, there's going to be a massive points haul. That is going to be a drop round for a bunch of people, round 4, no question. But yeah, those are our next 2 rounds, and yeah, I think it's going to be pretty exciting. What are you looking forward to, Finn?
I'm super stoked for Twin Ring Motegi. I really think, I think not almost all of the tracks here really are ideal for the type of cars we have and the racing we're doing.
Yep.
Twin Ring Motegi is definitely one that I don't see enough of in any schedule anywhere.
Yeah.
It's such a fun course. It has so many good technical corners that require a good amount of patience, a good amount of understanding your line, how much slip angle you can employ in those GT4 machinery, where your downforce will really benefit you in those LMP3s. So I'm excited to see it, make its way onto a calendar, and even more excited I get to call it. Which is gonna be that's gonna be super cool.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm excited for that. That's the thing I'm most excited for. Charlotte Roval, I think, will be another blast, like you were saying. But I think it'll be a bit of chaos. And I think it'll be, we'll have some very similar awkward traffic management, especially in that infield sector of the Charlotte Roval. Trying to figure out where they can pass on the outside, where they can pass on the inside. Those off-camber corners in that infield are going to be very interesting to see the 2 classes manage.
Yeah, because I think the downforce from the LMP3s will probably assist them a bit on the off-camber stuff. It's going to be real easy to spin a GT4 there. But the part that I'm looking forward to is in that infield section when you start getting into the elevation change, and what happens to the LMP3s when they have to deal with braking on the rising and falling corners. It's gonna be interesting. I'm really looking forward to it. But we're going to call the stream there, folks. Probably not going to do a raid or anything like that. My audio's kind of glitchy right now, so I'm not going to do that. We still got to work out some of these gremlins. We'll try and get it all buttoned up for round number 3. But we want to thank you all so much for joining us for round number 2. I think Road Atlanta very much delivered. But for everyone here at Track Limits Racing, I'm Whelp Cakes. In the booth with me, Mr. Finicini. We wish you all well this weekend, and we'll see you March 1st, round 3, Twin Ring Motegi. I think it's going to be exciting. Hope to see you there.
Absolutely. Okay. Nicely done.